Hello, awesome viewers. Welcome to this episode of the More in You podcast. I am so excited today because I have another phenomenal guest in the house. I only bring you phenomenal guests, women and men that come to be a blessing to you. Today I have Ifeoma Omoniyi in the house. Please welcome her. Hello, sister. You are most welcome.
Thank you for this honor and privilege. I'm so glad to be with you today. Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you today. I was looking forward to this. I was just like, yes, we're doing this. So I'm gonna read this. It's like a clip from her bio. I'm gonna read it, but it kind of sums up who she is, and then we're gonna get her to introduce herself informally. Sometimes bio just make us feel like they read all these things, and then I always guys tell, what are you? Tell us informally, who are you? So let's read a short bio. So Ifeoma Omoniyi is a resilient woman who has demystified the myth of stay-at-home mom. She has shown that staying at home does not mean staying idle. She has taken the art of home engineering to an all-time high, creating content thereby and earning a living, pointing to the fact that the multitasking skill in a woman speaks volume. I love that. That multitasking skill in a woman speaks volume. Women we do awesome things. So today our episode is talking about the various expressions of a woman. And I think when I just thought of you, I just thought, yes, she's going to be able to speak to this, because when you're in the home, it is the best place where you can have those various expressions of a woman. So we're going to look into that. But before we go into that, just kind of tell us informally, who is Ifeoma Omoniyi?
Okay, thank you once again for this opportunity. I am really, really grateful and honored. Ifeoma Omoniyi is the daughter of the Most High God. Woo-hoo! I start from there because that is my source. So Ifeoma Omoniyi is a daughter of the Most High God, God's princess. She is happily married to only one husband.
I like that.
And blessed with wonderful children. She is a passionate and excellent homemaker and organizer. She is a global influencer of young women, and she's also a podcaster. I'd like to stop at that.
Can you see people that I couldn't even introduce her like that? So let's give it up for my guest, Ifeoma. You are most welcome, sis. I'm so glad to have you here. Yeah, she's a fellow podcaster. She has this awesome podcast called At Home with Ifeoma. Her podcast is so, when I see the title, it's like, wow, you just want to listen. Okay, so can you tell us 2 fun facts about you, things that we don't know, that we might be surprised about?
Well, they might not be surprising, but I really like music. Music, cool music. It might not be too loud, but music that inspires my soul and uplifts my heart. Most times, music is a motivation, even when I'm doing my work. So I relax with music, and then I also like watching inspiring movies. After a hard day's job, and I'm just trying to stretch my legs on the couch, I don't mind a movie. I might sleep off, like my husband will always say that I don't finish movies most times. When he sees that I finish a movie, he will ask me, "Did you sleep during the day?" Okay, if you slept during the day,
that's why you're able to finish the movie.
Yes. So, but I don't mind. That's me. That's the way I'm wired. So I like movies and music.
Awesome. We have things in common. I also love music a lot. I love dancing. I love listening to music. I love worship. I love all of that. And I also love watching movies when I get the chance to. Actually, you're right, because I think for me, it's mostly when I'm in the kitchen that I watch movies. When I'm cooking, you see me, I can put a movie on. I do that a lot because I feel, okay, you know what? Especially when I'm tired, and so I just need a boost of energy. So something to take my mind off what I'm actually doing. Maybe I'm cleaning the kitchen or I'm cooking. I just say, you know what? Let me just find something that would. That way, I'm not thinking of what I'm doing. I'll just put a movie.
Yes.
So I'm doing it and I'm watching. I'm doing so that way, kind of makes me feel like, okay, you're not really busy. It actually makes me forget what I'm doing. Like it's like work. So I do that. Thanks for sharing that with us. So let's go into this. We're talking about the various expressions of a woman. And you are a fulfilled homemaker. Take us into that journey of being a homemaker. How did you start this journey?
Wow. Okay, I would like to say that I always wanted to be a medical doctor.
Wow.
I wrote JAM about 3 times because I was waiting to get the score for medicine. But after the 3rd time, my father encouraged me to just go in with whatever my score could give me. And so I got into the university to read human anatomy, which is a paramedical course. It's one of the core courses for medical students, human anatomy. So I got into human anatomy believing that after human anatomy, I could switch over to medicine. But plans didn't go that way. So I finished human anatomy. I did my youth service and like that. In my final year of human anatomy, my paradigm shifted. I was attending a church where entrepreneurial skills and business skills were encouraged. To be precise, I was attending Daystar before I got married.
Oh, so that is a blooming ground. Entrepreneurship.
Yes. So when I attended a leadership program in Daystar that time, I had a paradigm shift. It shifted from working for someone to owning a business. So right from my final year, I started selling tapes and messages on campus. I continued that selling skill even in my youth service days. I was selling books, selling tapes, selling most stationaries and books that people could use to build up themselves. So I started my entrepreneurial desire. After youth service, I didn't have any urge to apply. Many of my colleagues were applying to banks, to different places, but I just saw that there was a restraint. I really couldn't tell why. You might say, oh, maybe my parents are so well-to-do and they had arranged maybe a place for me. There was nothing like that. As at that time, my parents were running a business, a family business as well. So after youth service, I went back home, helped them with their business. I was helping them to run that business, and I also started my baking business too from home there. So the issue of getting employment was not in my agenda. So right from home, even during that time before I got married, because after youth service I stayed at home for a while before I got married. So you see me, I was always doing small businesses. I sold recharge cards when I was at home. I was making chin-chin, I was baking cakes, and interestingly, I got the money to do this training from my savings during youth service. So that was how I started that desire, that urge for business. Fast forward to when I got married, my husband asked me during the first year of our marriage, are you sure you don't want to get a job? I said, no, I am okay working from home. I'll continue with my business, and things like that. And what really gave me this push or this desire to still work from home was I had a picture of the kind of family I believe God wanted me to have. So that informed that decision. I felt since my husband's job takes him out of the house, it won't be good for both of us to, be running that rat race of going out, both of us, we hadn't started having children when I had this desire. So I went into it like that. Honestly, I didn't really know what I was going into, but I just believed it was the best decision.
Yeah.
So as I got into marriage and homemaking, I wouldn't say it was very easy, or I didn't have second thoughts of going to look for a job. There was one day, my husband came back from work, and I was telling him some incidences that happened back at home, that there were some NEPA officials that came, and I tried to resolve the issue. So when he came back, his response to me was not really encouraging. And I had a second thought. I said,
maybe I should go and get a job.
It was like, my father sent me to school. I have my certificates. Should I go and get a job? And then, the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, you are not here because of just your husband. I gave you that thought. I dropped that thought in your heart. Don't discard it. I tell you, I sat down and I was like, I should not discard that thought. I should not be discouraged. And from that day, God taught me how to shift my focus away from my husband, honestly. He said, I am your rewarder. I am the one that you should look up to. So that is the word that has kept me going in homemaking. Because many times, many of us women, when we don't get the validation, particularly from our spouses, we are really discouraged. We feel that is to have children and to do the mundane work. Or do you see that this is just a season, because to raise children, the children will go through different stages, and maybe you want to be there for the formative years of their life. Yes, you keep your ideas or your plans on hold just for a season. You use that period to also prepare yourself ahead of the next season that will come, when the children might not need, they are not that independent, they are not dependent on you. So they are growing up and things like that. So it is the way you see yourself, that is what you will act out. So there are various dimensions, various expressions of women. If I take myself for example, at age 9, I was in the choir. When I say choir, it wasn't children's choir. I was the youngest person in the choir as at that time. I was the youngest in the adult choir. I used to sing. So that was one expression of me as at that time. After that, I saw another side of me. In the university, in my secondary school, primary secondary school, you either become a prefect or whatever. That was another expression of me as an individual. In the university, I got involved in fellowship activities. I was a secretary at a time of the fellowship. I was sisters coordinator at a time. So different times of our lives, we have different expressions of ourselves. As an adult now, I can say, okay, not because my voice is not good, that's why I'm not singing in the choir. No, that's not the reason. I have found out that there are things that I have prioritized for now, and my time will not afford me what I used to do when I was not yet married. So you see that at different levels of our lives, we have different expressions. When you are a single lady, you cannot compare yourself to when you are married, because your roles have switched. You have different roles. Now, for someone that is already a grandmother, you cannot compare a grandmother to someone that is just a mother. There are different roles. There are different stages. So we need to know our different seasons. Understanding our different seasons will also make us appreciate our different expressions. Various means that you are not just one-sided. So Ifeoma Omoniyi is not just seen as a wife sitting at home and just sleeping until the children come back from school. No, not at all. Not at all. If I look back at myself, as at January 2021, I never knew that I was going to start a podcast in 2021. But you know what? Before then, there was a desire to share my experience. I was wondering, what platform will I be able to express myself? How will I be able to, share what I have to our world? And God, so being good and kind, He brought the opportunities my way, and I jumped at it. So today you see me as a podcaster. I don't know what God will bring on my plate, maybe next year or wherever. So we all have different sides to ourselves. But the big thing is, it starts with our thoughts. Our thoughts would push us to what we say about ourselves, and then what we say and our thoughts come together and push us to what we end up doing. So being a homemaker is not just idling away. It's as cumbersome as someone going to the corporate office.
Yeah.
In fact, we do a lot.
Wow. I can even just go on and on. You've said a whole lot, and we said being a homemaker is, and I know I remember we were together in a different podcast. I think it was last week, and you were talking about organization, and I was like, hey, I think we need to come and learn something, because I think for a lot of people, organization can be a big thing. Even in the home, organizing ourselves and everything can be a big thing. I want us to also speak to right now to moms and wives that are struggling with their current season. Because one thing that I found, especially in this day and age, because now the world has become like a global village. So sometimes we see other people doing so much more. And like you mentioned something that was so key as you were talking. You being a mom, when you're a mom, all you are doing is your children. As in, your children are like the focus. When you become a grandma, now the grandchildren is a completely different season, whereby you are not full on reigns with the grandchildren. You only go and enjoy, and you give them back to their parents. So you tend to have more time as a grandma than you do as a mom. So, but there are two different seasons, and sometimes we look outside and we begin to compare ourselves to someone that is. I always say this thing, that don't compare your year 1 to somebody's year 12. We're looking at somebody that is no more in our season, and we're saying, but I want to do something that person is doing. But that person, when they were in your own season, they were not doing what they are doing now in that season. So I find sometimes as women, we tend to compare ourselves. And we talk to wives and moms that are struggling, maybe women that are struggling with their current season right now, and they're thinking, but I don't want to be in this season. I want to be in that season that person is in. You are laughing. I don't believe that somebody...
It reminds me. It reminds me of a podcast platform too. I was with another homemaker, and she shared her experience too that had to do with, she was like, I don't want this. She found herself in homemaking, and she was like, I don't want this. And she shared with us how she used that frustration to now be a blessing to people. In fact, she came out with a book. I'm telling you, she came out with a book out of that frustration, and she's doing so well now, helping other homemakers, helping them for even those that are preparing to go into it, people that are preparing for marriage, making them see a bigger picture into what they are coming into. So I want to encourage mothers, moms, whoever you are, and you just feel that this is not what you planned for. This is not what you really saw. First of all, I want you to thank God for where you are. Because where you are now, your current position used to be a prayer point. When I say your current position used to be a prayer point, I'm sure you desired getting married first of all. As a single person, you wanted to get married, and you in your picture you had to have children. You were like, you look forward to how many children you will have. One thing I want us to know is that for every blessing that God gives us, there is a responsibility to it. If you are going to keep a blessing that you have asked for and prayed for, get ready to put in the work into that thing to have it and to keep it. There is a responsibility to every blessing you ask for. You ask for a new job, get ready to work more. If you ask for a new house, get ready to make sure that house is tidied up.
Yeah.
If you ask for a business, get ready to work long hours. There is a myth where people say when you have your own business, you don't work like pay them. You work more.
You work more.
Yes.
It's true.
You work tirelessly unless you don't want that business to grow, unless you don't. So for everything that we ask for, let's prepare our mind that we are going to put in the work. We are going to always know that as you put in the work, don't focus just on the responsibilities. Enjoy that season. Enjoy the season that you are in now with your husband, even if the children have not come. Because when the children come, is a whole ball game. You can't compare when it was just you and your husband to when the children start coming. So one thing that has helped me is always see the good for every season you are in. Always see the good in every season. Be thankful. Someone is wishing to be in your position. Someone is wishing to be in that position of you being married. For people that have been trusting God for a marriage and they see you, they admire you. You don't know, but they are admiring you. And then for those of us that already have children, it comes with sleepless nights, especially at that early stage, waking up to breastfeed, a lot of cleaning and tidying up. Even when you have people around you, as a mother, as an intentional homemaker, you need to be deliberate. You don't delegate everything to people. Yes, you delegate some things to people to help you, but there are some things you cannot just leave for anybody to do for you, not even in our world of today. So I encourage you, thank God for the season you are in. See the good in it and enjoy it. A time will come when the children that you think are messing up your house, they are disturbing, the house will be quiet and you'll be looking for them. Yes. My mom is always looking forward to my children coming. Even when I'm trying to restrict them, she will tell me, leave them alone, But it wasn't like that when we were in her house. So enjoy the season you are in. It's just a season and it will pass. But you need to enjoy that season because there are some treasures, the bonding, that time spent, the memories created during that season. It cannot be taken away. And if you allow that season to pass, you cannot bring it back again to try and live it out. So I encourage you to enjoy that season and to know that it comes with responsibility, it comes with putting the work to it, but there is always a reward, and the reward is in God's hands. He is a great rewarder.
Wow. Wives, moms to be, that's a big encouragement. Thank you for that. Another question drops in my heart. Somebody said, oh, you are a homemaker, you are fulfilled at home, you are enjoying what you do. And somebody might be asking this question because it just dropped in my heart as you were talking. That, okay, how do I even start a business? If, for example, if I want to start a business from home, if I want to do, maybe I'm a homemaker, but I'm looking for ways to think, okay, how can I even start a business from home? Can you just give us a few tips maybe on that? Just for some people listening.
Okay. So I would like to say that God did not make anybody useless. God deposited gifts, talent, and skills in each and every one of us. And that multitasking that women are very good at I see it as an edge. So you see that a woman can be at home, you can be cooking, and maybe you have something else doing, maybe you are doing laundry or something, so you can do a lot of things. So if you bring that into starting a business from home, and technology has helped us in a lot of ways. Now we have a lot of online platforms, so you might not necessarily need to get a physical structure as a shop. So you can have a room in your house, like a mini warehouse, where you have your goods or whatever you want to sell, if it is just buying and selling, or if it is, you want to go into cooking. As a homemaker, you can take advantage of your cooking skills and start cooking from your kitchen. You mustn't start by having a restaurant. But one thing that you need to do is, first of all, you need to sit down and look at, what are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? What can you do for free? Not that you're going to do the business for free, but if you don't get the kind of rewards immediately when you start, what are those
will you still keep doing it?
Yes, because starting a business, it doesn't start giving you the kind of money you want immediately. It takes time to grow, and it should be something you love doing. You can sleep and wake up and you don't mind just going at it. So those skills and those talents that God has given to you, sharpen them by getting more information online. Now we have the world as a school to us through the internet. So you can find out from YouTube videos, or trying to know how to put a business plan. There are so many things. We don't really have any excuses in the days we are in now. So I would say, discover the gifts and talents God has given to you, what you enjoy doing, and then get more information through books, through the internet, and through your friends and those around you. You can get a lot of information from them. And start from where you are. Start with what you have. You don't use the things that you have, starting from your home. For my baking, I didn't start with a mixing machine. When I started, I was using this my bowl and my turning stick, though the cakes were not coming out like I expected. And then I started with a small mixer. Like that, I graduated to a bigger mixer. Like that. So start with what you have and start from where you are. And start with the contacts you have. Your friends, your family, your church members, or your neighbors. Those are the first people that you can test run that business idea you have. And from there, you gradually grow. We are still at it, even in our own business. We've not gotten where we want to get to, but we are still keeping at it.
Thank you for those awesome tips. You mentioned one of the things that I like. I always share with people: start where you are with what you have. Sometimes people want to start a business, they are looking for $10,000. They're looking for, I say, what do you have right now that you can start with? So start where you are. Start with what you have. So women, we all have, and like I said, God has not created any of us empty. We all have so much in us. The world is waiting for what we carry, but often we don't even see what we carry within us. Okay. Before I let you go, I'm going to ask you one more powerful question. Actually, there are two questions I need to ask. So there's something that you do as well that I love so much. I remember that as a homemaker, you started having a Bible study with fellow. You mentioned that you are in this fellowship with other homemakers. You have a Bible study, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about it, because that was really interesting. That sometimes for somebody listening, you might be in maybe the niche in which you are called to. You can start something as well, whereby you have fellow people in your same niche and you can connect them. I was really enjoying. I'm like, oh, that is awesome, because normally you have people that are in the same niche, they don't even want to work together, but they're thinking, my ideas. I remember you were, we were talking about this on a podcast that we're recording, and you were saying you even share recipes. I was like, wow, that is powerful. Can you talk a little bit about that before I ask you the last?
Okay. So I am somebody that believes that the sky is large enough for every one of us to shine there. We are all stars in our own unique way. And so the sky is very, very large. God was so kind, and he knew that he's going to have so many of us to display and manifest the different things he has given to us. Even if we are in the same field, even if we're in the same sphere, we all have our uniqueness in that sphere. So the Bible study group I started, interestingly, I never knew, like I said, I never knew that at the end of the day, the people I prayerfully brought together, that we will even find bakers. baking was not the criteria. What was the criteria? I am somebody that is really passionate about the family unit. I believe that the home is the platform where lives are built, where influence is groomed through our children, through the family and everything. And because it is the first institution that God ordained marriage, a man and a woman, not what we see nowadays, a man marrying a woman, and together they stay together and build a home, have children, imbibe their values, their culture together, and then go into the world and influence the world. That's the picture I see about homes. And if we can get it right in homes, our world will be a great place to be in. So because of that passion I had, I started thinking, okay, what can I do? I said, let me look for people I know that are also homemakers. And I see that, like I said, the home is where you can groom people to influence the world. So for this Bible study, I prayerfully carved out a vision for this group. The main thing we are doing is to study the Word of God. Why are we studying the Word of God? We are studying the Word of God for the purpose of grooming our families and our homes. We have found out that there is nothing you want to talk about that is not in God's word.
Yes.
And for us to build homes that would influence our world, we need God's word. So we study our Bible. Sometimes we have character study Bibles study. Sometimes we use other devotionals to study together. It works this way. We read a particular chapter, and everybody on that group sends their contribution on the WhatsApp platform. That's what we do. So it's like a discussion, and then occasionally, maybe once or twice in a month, we have a WhatsApp video call to check on ourselves, to ask how we are doing. And then we've been able to visit one or two of our homes, the homes of the other members, for us to know where we stay, because all of us reside in the same city. So
which is awesome.
Try to physically get to know where we stay, and we use that as another point of bonding, getting to know ourselves better. Then another thing we do on that platform is that we try to see how we can inculcate the savings culture. So because we're encouraging us as homemakers to do one or two things beyond just being at home, we believe that when we can save money towards maybe our businesses to improve or expand our businesses, it will help us. So we do that monthly contribution, and at the end of each month, we do a ballot, and when is your month, you get your own share, and like that. And it's been interesting. We started a year ago, and we are enjoying ourselves, learning a lot from each other.
Wow, well done for what you're doing. And that's an insight for somebody else that might be thinking of starting something with other people in the niche that they are called to. There are people that God has put around us for us to learn. I always say no man is meant to be an island, so we can each learn from one another. And like you said, I always believe that as well. In fact, I often say that in the kingdom there's no competition, there's only collaboration. The sky is big enough. God, each of us is different. Even if you put 10 homemakers in a place now, they will each bring their own flavor to the table. That's the interesting thing. But sometimes we don't realize that. You think, if I bring this person in, they might overwhelm me, they might take over the things that I know. No, they will make you better. You will make them better. That's how it's meant to be. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I cannot let you go without asking you this question. And it's about raising our children. Because I know that it's one of the things that you are passionate about. So how do we, because this day and age that we live in is a very it's very scary times. How can we intentionally raise role models for tomorrow? That is, in our home. How can we as moms raise role models? Because that's what our children are meant to be. They're meant to be influencers. They're meant to be we're meant to raise them, like you said, in the home, because everything starts from the home. If you go and look at a prisoner, every one of those prisoners came from a home. And if things had gone well in their home, they might most likely would not have been where they are today. So when we look at society, it always starts, the home is the first unit. Then we begin to look at every other unit. So when you look at the home, what roles do you think that God has placed upon us as moms to ensure that we inculcate to our children, so that when they go out into the world, eventually, I always say, when we shoot them as arrows into their world, so that they can hit their targets and they can influence their world?
Thank you for that question. So I would like to start by saying that mothers and women are nurturers. Even if you are not yet married, God has given you that ability to nurture. You have that ability to build. That is inbuilt in us as women. So first of all, I will still go back to it. Know who you are. Why are you here on earth? And then secondly, you live with a legacy mindset. You don't live just for, let me just enjoy myself today. Let me just do what I can do. They will take care of themselves when they get to that point. No. Everything you do today is directly and indirectly going to influence somebody around you. So in our homes, the people that are going to be influenced first of all are our spouses and our children. I always say this thing. I say, I don't believe in going outside of my house and painting a beautiful picture that I can do this and I can do that, and right inside my house, I'm not even giving attention to the first people that God has put inside my own circle, my sphere of influence. I agree, it is usually difficult for your immediate sphere of influence to take you seriously. Yes. But you know what? God put us together for a purpose. And for us to be able to raise our children intentionally, then there must be a picture. Intentionally means that you do it deliberately. It's not just by chance. You don't just see one person doing this and you just copy it. No. So first of all, your knowledge of who you are will now determine the vision, the picture God has put in your heart about those children. Where are these children going to? For me, I believe my children are going somewhere. I believe they are leaders. I believe that, and I tell them that you are leaders not because of position. You don't need to be.
You don't need to have a position to be a leader.
To be a leader. You are a leader because there's something unique about you, and through that uniqueness, you influence people. People are they are attracted to you. They want to know more about why do you do what you do. So as mothers, let's have a picture of where God is taking our children. Let's prayerfully spend time and see God's face concerning our children. They are the ones that are going to influence our world tomorrow. And if they are going to influence tomorrow, then we must start raising them today. So how do we influence them? They watch us. I see my daughter today. Do you know, as I started podcasting, my daughter has carved out a name for her podcast.
She said, Mommy is doing it, I'm doing it too. Wow. I'm
telling you, I get my children involved. My son is very IT compliant. Sorry, I'm a lazy person with this IT thing. But you know what? My son has been so instrumental to my podcasting. In fact, I've become so relaxed when he's around because he will do it. You know, he will arrange everything. Before we came on here, he was the one that took me to the link and everything. He was looking at it, and he was the one that put the background. Yes, he put the background for me. He said, Mommy, let's try this. So get your children involved in whatever you are doing. Is it in cooking? Never think that your children are too small to learn. They don't need to get so close, to the burner and things like that. My daughter started washing plates at 4. She will climb the stool, and you see her. I have a picture of her. In fact, I showed her recently, and she was like, who is this? I said, you are the one. And she said, are you serious? I said, yes, you are the one. You started washing plates at 3 going to 4. And she was like, wow. And today, I can comfortably sit down and they will tidy up the kitchen. So let's get our children involved. Intentionality is deliberate in washing, in cooking, in doing, because I don't have a sleep at home maid, or a sleeping maid. So there is no house help. That's what I tell them. All of us are working together.
I think we're in the same boat. I said that all the time. I'll tell them, can you see a housemaid in this house? They'll be like, no. I said, so we all live in this house. I said, they don't pay me to cook. I will not pay you to cook. Everybody will play their parts. We all play our parts in this house.
Yes. So let's intentionally get them involved. It might not be the way you like it. It might not be the way you want it. For people like us that want everything to be prim and proper, I've learned that no, allow them. Let them do it, and then maybe you can now, add your own touch. But let them get used to it, and they are helping themselves. Yeah. So because you don't want them to become lazy, you don't want them to become still dependent on you as they get older. And let us also show them the part of us when we don't get it right. Let's not be those parents that make our children feel we never make mistakes, or we always get it right. No, if you do that, then you are making them live in a world that is not real. You are making them see life in the wrong light. So when our children don't meet up with expectations, let's let them know that it's okay, but you can do better. There was a day I think I oversalted the food, and I really felt bad. I felt so bad. But my children were the ones saying, Mommy, it's okay. It doesn't happen every time. It's okay.
You were the one feeling bad.
So I'm sure they've learned how I've, told them that don't worry, it's a mistake. We make mistakes, even though I still am that kind of person that wants it always in a particular way. But let's allow them to fall. Not that we are encouraging them to fall, but let's not make them feel that if they don't do well, if they fail, then there's nothing else to it. No, let's show them that they could make mistakes, but they could rise up again. So those are the little ways we can get our children involved. We can be intentional with them, and that way we are preserving posterity. We are already living out our legacy when we deliberately raise our children.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. You are so right, because intentionality, I love to talk about intentionality, is one of the ways that, and sometimes it's even, like you said, it's even in the little things. Look at now, because we are doing a podcast, your daughter wants to do a podcast, and it's interesting because we often don't know that they are watching. They catch more from what they watch us do than what we even tell them. So I think that also makes us, we always have to think of our own actions. Because if we are not showing the right actions, they will also exhibit the wrong actions.
Yes.
So we need to be very careful. It's true. I remember my son started, because I had 3 boys initially before I had my daughter. So my boys started washing plates at 5, started cleaning toilets at that age. And I remember I said, I don't have any girl. I don't want to be what age? Old age, and I'm still the one cooking. I'm still the one cleaning. I said, no, it's not going to happen in this house. Everybody needs to know how to wash it. I didn't even know I was going to have a girl. I said, we all must learn, because you guys, you're going to be cooking. You're going to be cleaning. So they all used to clean from age 5. Like you said, like your daughter, my son too, I will put stool for him. They will stand on it. They will wash the place. If it's not clean, all you have to do is open it up and rinse it again. But at least they've done their own parts. And that's how they all grew up like that. And today now, they know wash it, do all of it. Because I always also think that one day when they get married and they don't know how to do all these things, or even when they go to college and there's nobody to do it for them, how are they going to survive? So even for them alone, even taking care, even teaching them so that when they go, they can be an independent person. So that the wife will not be cursing you instead and saying, your mother did not teach you anything. But when they are in the home, they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to clean, then they become a burden for the wife. They become a liability because they don't know. The wife travels, they can't do anything by themselves. They ask, where is the oil? Because they don't know how to do anything. So I believe that even for people parents that have boys, please, let's teach our boys as well. Because some people think it's only girls we have to teach all these homemaking skills. Let
No.
our boys get involved, so that when they leave home, at least they'll be a responsible human being
Yes.
for
Yes.
themselves.
Yes.
And they'll be useful
And
for
you know,
society.
leadership is actually, it starts from self-leadership.
Self-leadership is the first layer. You
That
cannot
is the
lead
greatest.
yourself. How can you lead other people?
Yes.
You can't.
Yes.
You can't. Wow.
Yes.
We've shared so much. I'm so excited. I want to say I can go on and on. Go on. But I'm mindful of the time. But I want to say a big thank you. But I think two keys that I really just want to pull out of all of this. Something that you mentioned at the very beginning, women, and I'm so passionate about, is know yourself. Know who God has created you to be. I believe that's where even all the fulfillment comes from. When you know who God has created you to be, you will not confront, you would. And I always say, look at God. God is he's Jehovah El Shaddai, he's Jehovah Sabaoth, he's King of Kings, he's Lord of Lords. So he has different names, he has various expressions. The Bible says that we are created in his image, so we also have various expressions. Like you were sharing now, I can just go, we've shared about talking about women as a business person, talking as women as a homemaker, talking of us, in the ministry, in church where you're serving, with leadership skills. We have so many. Women, let us express ourselves. We have so many things that God has deposited within us. There is so much in us. Wow. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you once again to my phenomenal guests. People say thank you. All my viewers are going to be listening. They're going to be watching. Before I let you go, please let us know how we can connect with you. How can people find you if they want to find out about you? Let us just know the links.
Okay, I'm a very simple person. I'm still working on some things like a book. So my book will come out.
You have to come out.
Yes, and even working on courses on homemaking and things like that.
Yeah.
But for now, apart from my business, I am also a podcaster, like my host has said, At Home with Ifeoma. I'm sure in her write-up she'll put
my show notes. Yes, I'll put that in there. At Home with Ifeoma. I'll put
At Home with Ifeoma, but it's found on Google Podcasts, Google platform, Spotify, Apple. You can get it on those major podcast platforms, and you can also reach me on Instagram at Ifeoma17. Ifeoma1717. Yes, on Instagram. So that's where you can reach me for now.
Okay. And I will put all those details in the show notes so people can at least go and connect with you. Thank you so much once again for coming. We are most blessed. We are most grateful. Thank you, viewers. We will see you again next week.